Hello everyone. It's so great to see the community vibe in Seattle. That made me fly through, like coming from Melbourne, Australia, which is like shows like a 3 hours kind of. Like I started like on 4th, 7:35. I reached here on 4th, 10:35. That's the beauty of it. So yeah, as Angela said, actually, like I'm currently more focusing on mobile testing. Like by next year, it will be like more two decades of the test automation paradigm I have been evolved. I would like to share my experience. Apart from the quality engineering thing, like I'm passionate more on cybersecurity and AI. Of course, like who doesn't love AI in this world? But cybersecurity, like that is one of the passion actually, like not like move into cybersecurity roles, but in one of the clients I'm working with, I can't name that, but I have literally seen like all the tampering of the files happen on my own machine as well, which I'm using like VMware. And then I thought like actually, it's not great actually. There's something like we need to know what's been happening. So that made me like to learn more around and go through the advanced programs like which is from Stanford, which is pretty good course actually being done and recently done with on the AI as well. So even like before ChatGPT like getting popular, it is one of the pretty good program in Oxford like which being driven by pretty good. The focus not from technical standpoint as well. It's both like technical and non-technical, and it's really a good cohort. Coming back to career, I started my career back in IBM, not the chosen role like into quality, but I've been like a guinea pig to play around to see like how I'm fit for the test automation and other things. So we have, I used to work with the systems and technology labs, like closely like one of our program managers, they're getting retired, but they wanted to trial something, and I'm the guinea pig, and I started my test automation using Perl. Is anyone use Perl here? Right. I can correlate the COBOL and Pascal you have shown like in the morning, Carlos. Yeah.
We actually still have some Perl in production.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Great to hear.
We didn't talk about that.
Definitely. So that's how I initiated like getting onto the things. Of course, I mean there were not many tools around at that point, and I was working like on a build 290 tool, which is more like a for mainframe. There's so many products like which it's like a build and compiler. And it has like various operating systems. IBM has its own like version of a Linux thing, like AIX and the mainframe, ISP of Green. And there are a lot of things like paradigm you can learn. That gave me like a big picture and more passionate on the quality space. And from there I picked it up. So overall, like I have the experience of working with a technology company and also consulting like more like an Infosys company as well. Like you have one title, but you will do all. So you know, like I mean, how the consulting role is gonna be. And even I moved to New Zealand, and it's completely a switch over actually, like the way how we work in general, and the diversity and the kind of fitness in the team. It's not like straight up. Yeah, you apply, you're your best fit, you are super technical. No, you can't get into the team. So there's like a team fit. Everyone will do the interview. Team member, I'm working with you. Yeah, they're going to interview me. So that's pretty good one. And there, like, I got an opportunity to work as like closely work with a banking one division and also work in a startup as well, startup culture. And even till now, like that's Optima, like which is the emergency services. It has been acquired like 3 times now, I think. But that's my best experience which I had so far. Even I used to close the office, like whoever goes late in the evening, like they have to close the office. That's one of the things happens. And after that, like I worked for a major telecom company in New Zealand. And there, like I have been across like more on the, I don't say it as robotic process automation. I'm not sure who has got that buzzword. And there's no robotic or anything, but it's more on the business process. But I have been on like complete like end-to-end of the telecom systems in general. So starting with like you have like Delphi-based, mainframe, CBEL. Anyone work with Ericsson order management? That is the most toughest one actually to automate I have been seen so far actually. Like you get the changes, you get the version, maybe now it could be like pretty good one. But at that time, like I was doing that, it was the hardest one to automate in general. So that made us like, not only from the test automation perspective, but that's been used like more from the migration of 3 million customers, because there is a move happening from mainframes to CBEL, which is not straightforward. You can't do much of migration do from the back end. So you had to do like a data entry. So you had to utilize the actual test automation, but it's on a scalable one, like moving from 3 million customers. And I was in those lines actually, like we got a team of like 10 to 15, and I closely work with the CTO. And the time has come, and it's a 2-week period, and we need to do that to a 3 million customer shift, like data entry thing. And 50 VMs everywhere it's been running. Every half an hour or 10 minutes, CTO will come at me, how many of the flight is going through. So those kind of things, like it gave me like much exposure on the end-to-end process. And then I moved to Australia, where I have been working with initially with the Tabcorp, which is a gambling company, and it has like very regulatory. I thought like banking and financial services are more like regulated, but after working with a gambling company, it's even more highly regulated actually from what we see in general. And currently Bunnings, it's been like 4 years I've been with Bunnings, and in fact like there is no digital platform at all for Bunnings actually. Maybe let me go through like talk about more about Bunnings, but out of the experience what I have, I really like to do the career mentoring, which I started doing from IBM. In IBM, like you can do like whatnot, like whatever you want. So I closely work with the universities and get like vibe and also see how the bridging gap between academia and the latest industry trends happening. So I used to work on the community from that point, and currently like I'm working with like RMIT. It's one of the best universities in Melbourne, where like you'll be chosen like career mentor. Either students can pick you up, or even like we have a catch up and see like who can be a career mentor. It's like a 3-month program. It's not a quite intensive. It's like one-on-one calls, get through it, and try to have like so many queries. Even for us, like we have so many queries with the latest technologies that's coming through. And imagine like when someone like coming from out from academia in the masters, and the industry is like still in the dilemma, like what to pick, and even there will be even more dilemma as well. And I like to participate in hackathons. That's how like one of the good hackathon I could say is like there is a Australian-New Zealand Defence Forces where like you can directly work with the defence spokesperson. That's a very good hackathon actually, we got a virtual hackathon winner. So we got like one defence force from like Air Force Division from New Zealand. So you can really know the pain points of what's happening in a defence force. And recently, like if you haven't been involved, NASA Apps Challenge is pretty good one actually. It happens like every year, global wise. And we form up a team in Melbourne, and there like yeah, it's been chosen as a Melbourne Choice winner. Maybe if anyone is interested on happening, like what Global Hackathon is like, if you haven't heard, like there is a Bolt Global Hackathon happening with the heavily prizes, more on the AI related. If you haven't been across, I would highly encourage to go in that. That's my personal. Bit crazy to do, like coming from the New Zealand and other things, to do some adrenaline activities. And I have to admit, like my wife is like more brave than me, so I have to. She always like accompanies me whatever I do. And one thing always which always keeps me motivating is like I like to travel, and I have a Trip IT app, which I get the stats from past 20 years to see myself like how we are traveling and things like that. And the crazy thing which I do is like I do mentoring even in Uber ride as well. And if you look back in my previous career, like I have a patent back like while I was working in IBM. It's more related to community share riding. I think like Uber is just evolving at that point. But I love to do a mentoring even in Uber rides, because like I have seen like most of the students like who've been looking like more, it's really great actually. Like if you look from 2004 to 2008, we don't have like Uber, and like students, it's really hard. Like now everyone has their own thing and they can live by themselves, and not even looking for any other jobs kind of as well. But still, there is a much required thing like on the career mentoring thing. Maybe let me get, it's a Melbourne, Australia. If you, who knows, like there is a place like where you get public holidays for sports. And that can happen only in our state. I know, like Milan, like I mean, you're in a different state. I always envy, like we have like two public holidays, one for footy, which happens on final, and there is a horse race, which we call it as the Melbourne Cup, and we have a public holiday on that as well. But if you're planning to come to Melbourne, one good thing to do is like the hot air ballooning, which you can do in CBD. And also, if you are foodie or sports person and music, Melbourne is the place to go and experience it. And I don't want to talk about the coffee part, but you have to experience it. Let me go.
The CBD is the downtown in Australia. That's
Yeah.
the definition.
Thanks for catching it. And coming back to Bunnings, yeah, it's close to Home Depot, what we have here. And as I said, there's not like much of digital before COVID, but there is a large appetite has come through after COVID. And that's where my experience have run through, and here is the agenda. Talk about the all fluffy things so far, but let's get into action. So automation space, like it's quite good in web, but I think like when it comes to mobile automation space, it's quite tedious. And even like when it comes to releases, like how fast we could deliver to customers, that plays a big gimmick in that. So I would like to cover the TV vision, why is important, and what automation, like everyone does it, but how we could get to the pain points and think about like, it's not like only the technical thing, right? It's more of the mindset and get buy-in from different stakeholders' perspective as well. And I will share like what I have been through in few things and how are the making the continuous improvements from end-to-end life cycle, right? From you get the grooming until you release it and how we get the features. And the accelerated releases, there are a few things like which work really well. They're not few, but there are a few things like which I would like to share, like that things really worked out in the past 2 years, and that made like more efficient releases as well. Maybe just a quick poll. How many of you have been with the web or desktop app automation here? It's fair good amount. And how about in the backend API or the middleware? That's great to see. And mobile app? I know like we're too focused on now. Performance, security. Wow. That's great to have like one security, two security, accessibility. That's great to see actually more hands and accessibility, and I love that like what's been happening at the moment, and we have a pretty good workshop happening as well. And who has a QV vision document? It's not like a test strategy, but it's more like a vision, how we want to drive things in the next 5 years kind of. That's great. I can definitely expect that. So web versus mobile app, what I would like to share my experience here is like when I joined Bunnings, we were in like complete like web focused, and like when I joined, there were like 10 to 15 QAs who doing like manual testing at late nights if you want to release anything. That's where the saga has started, and then it has quite matured. We got the low code automation tool, and we started automating. And then we reduced like from 15 to 5, and we ensure like, I mean, one QE takes the lead and we share with the other 4 QEs. And from there, with the matured more automation, the low-code tool didn't well work, and we come up with a framework which needs to fit in for most of the things. And then that has reduced from 5 to 1 QE, who can themselves like release and take the ownership and maintain that as well. And now, thank you. Cheers. And now we are in a situation actually, anybody can release it. It's not like only just like QE will be doing it. Even whoever is the feature lead or like who drives that feature, they can, we have like all the continuous, we haven't been there at CD space yet. We talk about like CI CD, but CD is not that easy to do, because we all know like, I mean, when it comes to automation, it's not that easy to get through just straight up, but still we need to handle them. So that's where in the web. But when it comes to mobile space, there is no automation at all. When we started, like we almost take like, we have like 3 QEs taking up like 2 weeks. for manual testing, and then we started like brand new from the initial scraping the framework, and we need to get the buy-in, like how to get the frameworks as well. Unfortunately, I'm not the one like who decided to, and just pitched in, like the tool has been already been there. So it's been based on the React Native, and Detox is the one like which we have currently used. And anyone use the Detox here? No one is there to share my pain points then. All right, maybe I can just skim through a few things like what we have done. So coming back to QE vision, why it is really important, and we pulled like all the QEs to understand the pain points from each and every area, not just automation. When there's something like want to do in sprint testing, what are the key hurdles they're coming through? And if you really see from the, even like someone wants to develop the feature, what they really need. So we took like all those pain points and come up with some QE visionary thing, like where we need to invest like more things around. So we come up like more first starting with the integration test coverage. And great to see actually like most of you all have done the API automation. So that is like one tricky space, like not much, whatever the projects that have been involved in, not much of API happens. It always starts with the UI and get like thousands of suites written and keep running, and we're trying to battle with the flakiness and different issues as well. So that's one of the things we come up, and unified mock server. Great to see like Siddharth has touched based on the mocking thing, and that is one where like we can't run the whole suite on the environment and test data issue, whatnot. Who doesn't have a test data or test environment issues in general? Nobody, right? That's the actual fact, like what happens in the current industry, and we can't do about it because like no one wants to own that first of all, and no team will be ready for that, right? So on that, but still we want to make things right. So we said like, okay, we need a test data champions. So we need to know, and if you look back, the architecture is a dinosaur architecture. I can't share like what's been involved, but you have like all different types of like legacy systems and different technology systems as well. And it's not easy to see how the data flows and things, but we got to know, process, document it, and ensure like we have the test data champions. It's not that like to just know like how test data works, but when it falls over, how you can fix them as well. So that's where we spent like more time on that. And the other thing is like to enable hard quality gates on the PR. Maybe it's a quick question. Even I'm trying to learn from everyone as well. How many of you doesn't have the hard quality gates on a pull request in general? So if someone pushes the code in, it runs the test until it's successful. You can merge the code to a branch, whichever is supposed to be. Don't have it? Or who have it for it? Who has it?
I mean, like, without any person reviewing it?
Still the review happens, but it will run, but you can't merge it until it's been passed.
Oh,
A fair bit of hands. But still, yeah, and we can't, and again, like when we are running on the pull request, what matters is the test data. Are we running on the real environment? Are we trying to run on the mock server? That's where the mock server pitch comes in there actually, where we see the real need. We know like test data, we can't solve it, test their environment stability, but we need to get the mock server and try to isolate the things. Of course, we have to do the end-to-end testing on the real environment, but how efficiently we can get to the shift left and get things done at the early stage. So still work going on there. I'm having my own battles to get things done, but it's a soft quality gate. It's not that we're not running. We're making sure things are going as well. Accessibility testing is one good thing actually being highlighted as well actually when we are trying out with the new tools. Realize like it's, and even if you, how many have accessibility testing? Maybe I want to see again, hands up on accessibility. 4, 5. Here. So they literally, I mean, forget about that accessibility testing. How many of you have the requirements for accessibility first in place when you develop a feature? same hands. That's why like accessibility testing has been taken more. And again, like when it comes to mobile, it's more coverage of test devices, which we haven't been there. Automation suite monitoring, that's great actually, which I got some insights from Siddharth's talk as well. That no one needs to monitor, but our suite is small. And we want to tackle in the first place, like to ensure the green is not always green. We need to understand, like, even if it is not completely green for a long time, we need to understand, like, is this really the fact or not? So we always have the rostering done, not only with the quality engineers, we also involve software engineers as well. That's one of the things, like in the next slide we'll cover. If a test suite fails, even if a non-technical person, okay, it's failed, what is the first reason they will point out? And I'm sure like Siddha has highlighted as well, flakiness. It's by default, right, flakiness. But it's not always right. We need to understand, like, we are running at that point of time, how's the environment is, how the test data is, and how's the point of even infra is availability as well. So those all come into picture, and we used to do, since we started like from the scratch, every day when we keep increasing it, we ensure like to see what is the test data, what is the test environment, and it's not only that, we have to showcase to leadership team as well. Yeah, we need to prioritize this thing because this has been happening. So we got like all those data documented every time, and most of that contributed to test data and test environment. That's where the main priority has kicked in as well. On the mock server, since like Siddharth has already highlighted, but this is a very efficient way. I'm not like much into web. Web is all right. We can manage like a whole thing, but when it comes to mobile, it's not that easy to get things done. What are the biggest pain points? Whoever has the mobile automation here, what is the biggest challenge you have faced in general?
Deciding the devices.
Absolutely, yeah. And any other?
This data is the main challenging.
It's yeah.
Because I am where I am coming from is REI. We work in retail, so whereas the test data is like every day changing. Not every day, almost every hour is changing, right? The price is changing.
I can completely
or the
correlate that actually with the
inventory
retail.
is changing, right? So it's the biggest challenge for us
Yeah.
to use the real data. So data issue is the biggest challenge for us.
Yeah, yeah, it's a universal problem. It's not like just retail, but yeah, we will get there. So that's.
I have seen in the mobile testing is typically when people test, they have like a very good device or simulator, but practically when the user uses, their mobile may be low on memory, battery, or whatever problem or whatever Google's policy changes there.
Yeah.
So that is also the first part is as something which is not really pumped up in the testing sometimes has seen those images.
No, absolutely, I get your point. Yeah, I think you got a big pain point actually. When it comes to browser, like we don't have like that much of things, but when it comes to mobile, it's hard to replicate like every customer what's been on there. Even if you look at the Android devices, I was looking at the Play Store, like how much we need to coverage, and it's going in thousands in these days. And even what operating system they are on, and what's the compatibility, and even if you look from the network perspective, low network, you may not have all the 5G every time, and how's the app behaving without the network. And there are so many things when it comes to mobile in general. And the automation success, why I raised it, I mean, it's not like more of a quality engineers or SDHs or who will be looking for it, but we need a shared responsibility. Everyone should know like how things working. When contrasting with Bunnings, we have like different squads. Even in each squad, different software engineers work on different features. If something breaks in, it's not that like QE will be taking care of like all the issues and come back. But everyone needs to know how things working. If we break it, we need to. I think it's a DevOps when you come like if you write like you have to, if you build like you have to run it. In the same level, like I mean, if you break it, you have to fix it. That's the culture actually. We started engaging like even the platform engineers from the DevOps perspective and the operations team as well, which really worked well. In fact, like we want to know what the process is and how everyone is like self-service in all the aspects as well. And the main key point, how I could see like detox haven't been used, because I worked like on a previous project as well. It depends on like how the app is getting built. If you are using React Native, usually like detox is the best way to go, not from the quality point of view, but the software engineer's point of view in general, because it's not like a black box testing, it's a gray box testing, and you can do like more of the things using detox. But what it has is like you can't run on the physical iOS device. iOS getting on APM is good actually. Maybe I would like to talk like more with Siddharth and like folks like we've been using in APM and the challenges when we run on different, especially on Android. iOS we didn't have like much, but I think like more when it comes to Android, like you have different scalable devices and different vendors as well. Each has its own gimmicks in that. And Maestro is the one like which I really liked it, and it has the same thing. It has like taken off all the pain points like what APM and even Detox has well set up as well. You just like install, like npm install, and plug your device. It will easily detect if it is emulator or simulator what it is, and install process, and it's like a plain language as well. It's like a YAML files. XLQ, I'm not sure if anyone is XLQ from here. Just on the records, I'm not endorsing XLQ here to use it. But that's one of the things like which we have explored the Salesforce, which is really went well. But we want to see how it really fits in for the mobile centric as well. So when I started using for the first 2 days, I thought like, okay, one more record and playback tool. And then I thought like, we need to capture screen recording for iOS screens, Android screens separately every time, at least like one time. And after like learning like more and more, it's really good in a way how it's been structured. Firstly, it says like how you shouldn't be writing the test. Even if you try to use the different modules or try the things, it clearly says like that's not the way to write the test and get it automated this way. So that sort of nature is there. And also the other thing is like once you get the screens up, it has a detectable when there is a change, it auto detects, and there is a self-healing process as well. And it's not like simple login test for the POC. We clearly define like all the complex challenges, including the MFA one as well. And it's really good actually, like multi-factor authentication, we were able to automate pretty good in XLQ. I always used to say like there is no one tool that can do like all sort of automation. But after using like XLQ and with the experience what I have done in past, even like the telecom experience, like a desktop or a web or mobile, and even if you look from end-to-end integration testing, it's not like one system, right? You place something and you have to evaluate like whether it has fall through all the workflow across all the legacy systems or not. And that's where actually I have seen really a good area like it can switch in. Even like when I place something from mobile, okay, check me something in the order management system. It's like a web, and in between like check some database. So in those lines actually it's really cool. Thought like want to share on that. And as I said, like continuous improvements, we always like stress on like how well before the card gets ready for testing. In the grooming, we always make sure what test data is required, and all it's not like happy path and everything. Like when it comes to in sprint, it's not like we test the same acceptance criteria have been met or not. How many of you do the manual testing by picking up the cards manually to ensure the acceptance criteria have been met or not? Yeah. So when that comes to, there's always like a lot of things going front and back, and we have this OKRs, objective key results set. Actually, try to see when it comes to in-sprint testing, we don't want to spend like more than a day, and also want to see how many are going back and how many are able to easily go to done as well, and get those factor in. And we got like that's how like we have made the QB vision as well. And the other one, the showcase and the bug bash. Yeah, documentation. When the agile has kicked in, no documentation or less documentation. Who has been in that period actually? Like less documentation, let's go away from it. Of course, even I don't like documentation. But thing actually like because we want to make like self-service, it reminds me like what Carlos has initiated in the morning. We need to go towards the engineering excellence, operation excellence, and build a everyone, they need to know actually like, how to test or like how to get things out of them and to create tools for that. So that's where actually it's quite important to document the technical reasons. Not that like detox is like, it has its pros and cons, but why we have achieved it and why we have chosen it and why we need a buy-in from both software and quality engineers. So it all matters on that. And even like, I'm hiring and recently like it's an onboarding process. I realized actually like, until you see, how many of you like keep maintaining the README file? You will get to know only when someone haven't worked on it when they try those steps, right? So it always happens the same thing. So same thing for onboarding as well. When someone comes for onboarding, you won't know how it was being like quite documented as well. But we keep like given some importance on the documentation. We keep raising cards as well if really required. I know like when it comes to the velocity and the sprint planning, it's always like taken like a step back with all the releases and things. Showcase. How many of you showcase in your regular sprints of what your quality work? I would expect like everyone has to raise it. This is quite important actually. Not that it's like showcasing of the defects you found or something, but we need to know what's the visibility for future direction for executive team level and different stakeholders as well, so that they can't take any straight away decisions like what's not important and what's important. And it's quite important actually to showcase how we are continuously improving and also set some, that's where the QV vision comes in picture in general. Bug bash, it's not a new thing. How many of you in general participate in bug bash or conduct? It's quite good number of hands there as well. It's the same thing actually, not that we want to find bugs in the last minute, but this is more to ensure even for the service ops, the DevOps, whoever is trying to even customer get the feature, they need to understand like what sort of feature is going in as well. And not only that, even the leadership team and even the marketing team especially. In past client, like even we used to get like in last minute, Agile, come on, just take the last minute things as well. So we don't want to get like all that happen, and we always like encourage this bug bash taken, and also make sure to involve all different, it's not like within own team, just go across the different team, and especially with the management and marketing if you have, and any other department as well. That's one way to showcase the new features coming through as well. That's the local community observations. As part of like working in Bunnings, we had to work in stores, which I thought like, is that the case? And I had to work in stores. And first day, like, yeah, I was scared of the customers actually, what questions they're gonna ask me. And I used to go away and of course I haven't worked in store before. Then, but eventually like year after the year, like first year, like it's only one time. And the second year, like three times a year, now 5 times a year. And now I'm in a position like if customer walks in, like I go towards the customer and get to know like what needs to be done. And good part is like actually we don't have a training badge. Now we realized actually at least you need to have a training badge for the team members. We can't just put like digital team going in the stores and look for it. But why it is important? Even though we work on digital things, it's highly important to be close to the customers and know the pain points, not only the customers, and even the store perspective as well. They won't be knowing much on the digital, but they're much more on the back-end work and the aisle thing. So we get an opportunity to see how the back-end works. Even if someone places online order, what happens after that? So we pick it up, see like how much time it's taking, where. So unless we know the pain points, we can't like get like more things on developments as well. Am I a caveman? Not talking about AI so far, or am I scared of AI? That's what happens, right? But as I said before as well, like before ChatGPT getting popular, there were like 240 executives global wide, like all the bank CTOs, and it's really a great cohort actually, which has opened my eyes as well to see what's been happening. But yeah, we have to accept the fact. We know like there are still things like to be improved, but yeah, we need to keep adopting the responsible AI, whatever is in there. And what makes me more fascinating is on the accessibility. These are the pictures actually which I have gone recent Japan vacation. And I have literally seen like how accessibility is taken really care everywhere actually. Even you have apps where you can go to the accessible areas. And even if you go to washrooms, it's not like separate one. You will definitely have one accessible one on the tins, the braille, and even on the escalators as well, on the paths. So it's been like well taken care on the accessible. And even if you see the last one, I would encourage to go to this accessiblejapan.com, which has like accessible tools. It's mind blowing to see like, wow, accessibility, yeah, that's where like we need to ensure like we cover 100% customers, how we can use the digital products. And recently we have one snack day, it's like a hack day, which we did like a couple of days. And we do that, like we come up with all the innovative ideas and get things done towards such that something will be ready for production kind of. That's something like which have been done. But when it comes to automation, maybe I can talk like offline. It's really challenging, especially on mobile apps. What tools are available for accessibility? Well, web is like straightforward good. I have evaluated like a browser stack. It has like pretty good initial thing, but when it comes to automation, still it would be good actually. I mean, I want to learn like more from here as well, from the technology standpoint, how we are driving in that period. That's my dream dashboard. And this I use the GPT model, use more than 50 prompts, but still I'm not happy with it, so I have to get it like this far. And as I said, like test data and test environment stability, those are the key things. But no one wants to look at it on the dashboard. And it needs to be visible. And even if I want to sign off the release, yeah, test environment is like that. At that point, I'm giving the sign off. So this is a dashboard, take a screenshot. And everyone knows the facts there. Same thing on the automation. Don't stick with like a UI or something. Keep looking from every perspective, integration, unit, accessibility, performance, security. So it also gives a good dashboard, and even since in the mobile spec, I'll be like keen like what are the top devices that's been getting used by customers as well. And it's quite important when you set automation, we need to know like what actual devices customers or top devices are using, and look at the analytics, how the crashes are happening. So that gives out a clear picture like where we can focus, and it's quite important for the dashboard to be in. And yeah, I'm currently working with the engineering team. It's not like built in a day, but slowly like one at a time, keep going there. But observability dashboards like are the ones like definitely need to have, like if someone is signing up from the release, it's good to have from all of the things. So that's a quick summary. Don't want to read the slide. A few pictures from my recent Japan experience. And I would love to see one star, because so that I would love to get a negative feedback and see like, if you give 5 star, I don't get like what I can do further. If I need to come back and share like my plethora of experience, what everyone is interested in, it would be really good. Just feel free, not just a star, provide the information like where you are looking forward and what sort of things we could develop on things. Maybe open the floor for questions. Sorry, like I have taken up like more time.
I am a little it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We are good. We can take some time for lunch.
Open the floor for questions, please.
I have a question. Yeah. In one of the slides you've meant, like you have showcased that you went to the warehouse floor where you
That's right.
kind of analyzed how things are happening. So I just wanted to know what are the core sort of learnings which you have here, and how it is like if I want to compare it, like have you implemented it in terms of automation testing or mobile testing, or while doing your testing? Has there any specific learnings which you had? And so based on what you were testing before and after you had that kind of experience on it?
Yeah, that's a great question actually. Like when we do this, we call it as a hammer time. It's not like something on testing focused actually. It's more like to understand the customer's behavior, and also to understand the other team members, how they are doing it. What we see, they may not see the same way. So for instance, like one thing what I have like one of the experiences like when we do, okay, we got an online order. So what happens next? And we need to understand like what's the order number and whether it needs to be delivered, and we need to understand like where the aisle is and things like that. It takes time actually, and also how efficient is the way. Of course, I mean nothing can beat like Amazon like distribution center, how the robots like do things, But in Bunnings, like everything is like manual now at the moment, but that will give us actually how you can optimize things and also understand the process and the other systems, like where they more interested in. What customer is seeing the online, they may not be seeing the backend team as well. They will have their own systems, and we need to understand like what are the key parameters they look forward, and that gives us like more from the understanding perspective. And I know like, okay, they don't care about like things what we show to the customer, but they have some other things which they really care. So then we started seeing on the other systems, making sure those are the artifacts like that's been really interested for the backend team, and some other things what's really interested for the customers. But that's one more from the testing perspective. But if you look from the pain points perspective, you will see like a lot of continuous improvements happening. It's not like only QA team, it's like entire Bunnings team who are like permanent team member. They have to, there's no way, it's a compliance for us now actually. We have to spend like 5 days in a financial year, and we need to ensure like, yep, we did that.
Yeah, because from like, even from the QA perspective, I want to like specifically focus about that. Like when you go to a warehouse and try to learn their systems and everything, like whatever you have is, you might be testing that system in a particular way, right? Then you go to a warehouse and see how things are being tested there. So like I was just interested in like knowing, is there any specific scenarios or which you were not testing before, which were actually being used by either warehouse employees or different applications which you have in place, right?
Yeah.
So you might have the specific. Same goes for the development perspective as well, right? Like you might need to build features which users of your application or system needs. But from the QA perspective also, you could have some learnings, right? In the way you are testing it, you might not be testing in like the way the real user is actually using. So from that perspective, do you have any kind of specific learnings which you want to share?
No, definitely. Actually, like I mean, as I said, like each team is different, and there will be QAs, and they will be doing with their own systems, right? When it comes to like end-to-end testing, we need to understand like in each system what are the key things like they really look after, and we don't want to push things. Okay, we got the new release. Our job is to think only from website perspective or the mobile app perspective. I don't care like what happens in other systems, but it doesn't help us from our end as well. Even if there are issues, it takes time to go to the other team and they know like what to test. And we may not be doing the entire thing from the backend perspective, from the warehouse perspective, what I mean. But there will be key pointers like what we need to understand, like what's important for them, what are the key information that we send it from one system. It's really important there as well. So those are the things like we added more integrated scenarios when we go for end-to-end testing. Okay, so let's not pass it on to the other team. Let's do by ourselves and ensure like things are going in, and then pass over to the next team when we do the entire phase. That's a great question, actually. Yeah, definitely. Like I mean, it always happens in general. Any other questions?
I have a question. So most of the time, the mobile testing happens at the later phase, the integration or sort of like the developer develops towards the browser and like expose it out for the testers. Did you have any situation where you pushed from the back, like the end to end, where we do the mobile into the very early phase?
We have like all different teams in general. Like I understand actually. Like I mean, there will be teams like who wants to get the parity. It more based on the team structure, how it is, and also like how the development does in general. But when it comes to, maybe I can correlate like more from the web perspective, like why we need to even test like the mobile thing as well, when certain things like need to be, so again, going back, like I mean, how customers are using. And these days, like everyone wants to use even web from mobile specific as well. And do we really know that the customers are using more browser or more of the mobile? So when we know the stats like analytics, okay, even for web, we have like more of mobile, and that happened in one of our clouds as well. Like we were doing more automation and running on the browsers, and we know like I mean most of the customers are using like 70% on the mobile. So we completely switched over the automation, like I mean actually running on the real devices with the real browsers running on them. So that gives out. So having those facts, that always gives definitely a nudge. Let's switch it in the shift left, more from mobile centric. Even that can happen even the grooming as well, actually, when even like before you develop, okay, so I'm clear, this feature is more for the mobile centric, and this needs to be developed in such a way, and automatically we can go the testing from that perspective as well.
One of slide was talking about the shared responsibilities, and you talked about DevOps and KVs and backend comes together.
Yeah.
But what I've seen most of the time, each team will be busy with their own tasks. So how you prioritize if something comes up? How you brought them to attention of other teams? Do you have any process to everyone comes, collaborates, and solves that issues?
That's a very good question actually. Even like last week, like when I coming over, I was implementing like different things as well, because it's quite important everyone needs. And as I said, like each of the engineers in the same team as well, like on different features as well. It's a classic case. And we always do run on one main branch on the regression, and we do the analysis. Then we thought like, no, it doesn't help us actually, because we got to know like actually at the end before the release, like, yeah, we got a feature like, but the suite has broken, and we don't know what's been happening. So we started running like, okay, feature leads, here is the branch, I'm setting up the automation for you, here are the runs every night, you take care of it. So we need to delegate that actually, or else like, everyone don't want to get buy-in. And when it comes to priority, product management, everyone comes talk on the features, but no one looks after the quality perspective, right? But yeah, that's where like, you have to pick and choose sometimes actually. And even like DevOps is like quite, it's not like one per team as well, they will be across, it's really hard to get them as well. So I get hold of them in bug bash especially, to ensure you come and see like what's been happening, and this is how like been done, and the issues in the pipeline and things, and these are the things to be prioritized. Then they will understand, okay, so there is a good appetite to involve everyone. Yeah.
I think we are run out of time. You can ask later, for sure.
I can discuss it.
Yeah, there is only lunch right outside this room, so
Yeah,
you
so
can
let's
just
give
grab
it-
this question.